If I reflect back on my school days, I think I always had an affinity for science.
I've always had an interest in engineering. I was always the kid around on the street that fixed your bike if it broke.
Well, I started when I was a little girl. I liked drawing buildings, and then I was good at maths and science. And then when I left school, I decided to do A-levels in maths, physics and graphical communication.
I remember going to a shop called Toys R Us with some birthday money that I had from my parents, and I spent that money on a chemistry set and on a microscope. It's from those days that my interest really developed.
I've worked on projects as far afield as Sierra Leone, the Gambia and Shanghai.
I spent 20 years as a consultant geotechnical engineer.
When I went to study a volcano in Kenya, which was just an absolutely fantastic experience. I had 2 field seasons camping there with the local Maasai tribes, essentially map this the volcano.
I moved into industry and spent 18 years working in highways and transportation. Whilst in industry, I became a chartered engineer.
I got a job as an environmental consultant. One of the jobs I was involved with was the Cardiff Bay development, living in the damming of the rivers Ely and Taff. I live quite close now to the Cardiff Bay barrage, and we often walk across there with my wife and my son to have lunch at Cardiff Bay. And when I do so, I think to myself, I was involved in a small part in the design of this magnificent structure.
I spent 10 years as a research manager in industry.
I worked in the commercial sector for 14 years before becoming a lecturer, and I really enjoyed taking that real-world experience into the classroom and seeing our students developing their own design skills.
Teach students so I can see how their experiences are developing.
I enjoy sharing my industry experiences with our students to enhance their learning about engineering and the types of employability it can lead to.
I ended up in education after 25 years in industry. I felt that I wanted to give something back, and I moved into an educational environment to do that.
You always need people working in science because science is constantly advancing.
If you want to know how the planet works, fundamentally how the planet works, there's no better place to be.
There are still far too many people who perceive engineering to be a man's job, but there are so many successful female engineers who prove that women can enter into any profession.
Any young women who want to go into STEM, I would say please do. I think we're facing so many challenges in the world, and many of them could be solved, at least in part, by using STEM subjects.
A particular passion of mine is to increase the number of women in STEM. We have positive role models across the school, and the curriculum has a specific emphasis on widening access, giving learners the flexibility to fit their studies in around their life.
I think it's really important to have a strong representation of women within the STEM subjects, is because it's people working in these areas that are really going to go on to solve the world's problems. But the world isn't predominantly male. It's important that women are a part of that journey.
In my experience, a career in STEM can be stimulating and inspiring.
So I'd just like to encourage you to think about and pursue your strengths, and who knows what STEM career you might take, indeed where in the world you end up working in.